If you'd asked me at the start of the season whether we would be top of the Swiss Super League and also into the knockout stages of the Conference League, I would have snapped your hand off. Well, guess what's happened? Let's show you how we got there and all the rest of the business. Roll that title. Welcome back, everybody, to episode 60 of the Liechtenstein Challenge here with Vaduz. And as you can see from the schedule page, there is a lot of green in the first half of the 2037-38 season, which I am very happy about. The odd draw and defeats here or there, but this has been our best ever start to a season. And when I show you the Super League, you'll understand why I say that. We have went on a bit of a crazy run in the Super League, and you can probably see from the Conference League, which I'll go into a bit more detail. I just wanted to show you a majority of the green apart from those two defeats. Because normally I would hold off on that, but I just want to show you that page. But with regards to the Conference League as well, we've been doing extremely well in that competition, which puts us in good stead going into the next stage of the Conference League, which I think is in February, which we will show you in the next video. But I'm going to do what I did last time with us being in the Conference League. So we go through half of the first season, and then the next video will be the end of season 15 with all the transfers in January, what's happening in the Conference League and what's happening in the Super League. But things are looking very well. I'll go into the Super League first, then the Conference League, and we'll also show you some other stuff that has happened with regards to transfers and potentially things that aren't related to the schedule and stuff like that. So sit around, enjoy, and let's get into it. This is how things have been looking with regards to the Super League, and as you can see from the games that we've played from July to December, we have only had 2 defeats in the league, 1 draw as well. You can probably see as well from a lot of the games we have been scoring for fun this season, which is scaring the living daylights out of me because we don't play this well. Always a negative me. But yeah, we have blitzed a couple of teams this season, and we don't normally do that in the Swiss Super League. But I'll get into it anyway. I'm not going to show you many of the games because I just want to get really into it, but there will be a couple of games where I show you the highlights. We started in July with a 2-1 away victory at Yerevan, and I was worried we weren't going to get off to a good start with how we've done pre-season. Dominic Simic getting a goal in the 9th minute, but Lazarus, our Nigerian centre-back, getting 2 goals for us in the 28th and 32nd minute. And then at home to Zurich, we completely destroyed them. Zurich not having the best of times at the moment, but you can see from the bottom left-hand corner here, a lot of ratings in the 7s and above. Fadley scoring, Beale, an own goal as well from Zurich, and Kaiser getting a goal. Jenny scored in the 54th minute. Rhiannon Jenny, I believe that's how I pronounce it. But if you look at how many shots we're having and how many we're getting on target, I feel like it was really early on, but the formation and the players were clicking. Unfortunately, we suffered a bit of a random one, a 1-0 defeat out of nowhere really early on to Winterthur, but I think this maybe have put us back on the ground with regards to our expectations. We completely dominated the game. We should have had 2 goals in this. But Demeter getting a goal in the 33rd minute for Winterthur. They've been a surprise package this season. They've been doing really well, and they've also got one of our former players in the team. But after that, you can probably see we went an unbeaten run until December the 13th. We did not lose a game since then. So we started off with 2 away games to Aarau and Schaffhausen, beating them both 2-0. Then it was a home victory against Servette, Nystan, Paulo, and Kaminski making it 3-0. Then we probably had our toughest September to date, away to St. Gallen, and this was not an easy game, as you can see. It was 2-1 to us at half time with goals from Kaiser and an own goal from them. He's been doing really well this season, Kaiser. Kakia got a goal in the 17th minute, and then it was 2-2 thanks to a goal from Diego Rodriguez in the 55th minute. Nystad making it 3-2, but then we followed that up with a complete demolition of Basel, and we seem to have these hit and miss games against Basel, and I'll show you that in a moment with regards to us playing Basel away from home. We didn't do particularly well, but they had a man sent off in the 75th minute. Goals from Nyestad, Kaiser again, and Doria seems to be clicking as well. So we are getting a lot of goals from other people other than Maximiano this season, which is a real positive. Then a crazy game against Young Boys. 4-3 here. Depov, Kaiser, and Paulo making it 3 goals for us in the first half, but they came back with Junior Legue, Salimi in the first half. Then in the second half, Francisco Javier made it 4-2, but Turan made it a little bit uncomfortable for us in the second half, and it finished 4-3 to us in the end. But it was a good performance overall. And then a home game against Luzern, a little bit of revenge for us, with Luzern pipping us to first place in last season with the league. But then I have to say, a beautiful October, 4-2 away to Zurich. Goals from Fadili, Alejandro, and our new centre back Daniel, which I'll show you in a moment. David Ramos and Yeni for Zurich. Then a 5-2 away victory against Lugano. Fadili, Doria, Melone, Kaiser again, Maximiano, all of our 3 strikers getting goals. Bajami and Tome getting consolations for Lugano. Then a home tie against Yevedon, 4-2. Doria, Melone, Alejandro, like I said, Doria getting a lot of goals there. 2 goals for Yevedon. Cherie, I think that's pronounced. Just looking above my head there. And Dezemic in the 78th minute. And then a 5-1 victory in the Liechtenstein Cup. Not going to go through much there, but a heavily rotated side. And we did the deeds to get into the semi-final of the Liechtenstein Cup. A little bit of a weird one in November, so we beat Aarau 5-0. Then a 2-2 draw away to Young Boys, and I think we were really lucky in this game, but it just shows the quality that's been improved where we can come back. Legui, again, getting a goal in the 6th minute. Salimi in the 23rd, and we were 2-0 down at half time, and I was worried this was going to be our first defeat for a while since the Winterthur game. But Silla and Nystad getting goals in the second half to make it 2-2. And then I have to say, Schaffhausen, who have been doing really well this season, and I'm going to show you the goals from this. 7-0 at home, just a crazy performance. A goal from Daniel in the 5th minute. And then we followed that up in the 8th minute. A little bit of nice play here from Simon Beale and Kaiser. Again, getting the goals for us, making it 2-0. Alejandro plays a nice ball to Fadili here. And then Simon Beale, again, he's having a really good season as well on that left-hand side. Another corner, and Lazarus, he's been doing that a lot this season to make it 4-0. Silla making it 5-0 with a penalty. He's been really well this season. Then to make it 6, Campana with a lovely solo effort from Alejandro, the assist there. And then again, we made it 7-0 in the second half. Weissman, who is our young Swiss under-21 international, making it 7-0. And yeah, tremendous performance. I have to show you the goals there because it was just a brilliant game of football to watch. And I've got an even better game to show you in a more when it comes to the Conference League. Anyway, to round this off, we had a 4-1 away victory at Servette. Silla, Beal and Maximiano. Secco getting the goal in the 82nd minute for them. We got revenge on Winterthur. 3-1 victory away from home. Kovacevic, Maloney, Kaiser, Bekechki, I think that's how you pronounce it, for Winterthur. And then a 4-1 victory against our local rivals, St. Gallen. Javier Howe, Maximiano, Doria and Simon Beale yet again. Boscolo getting a goal for them as a consolation. And then one of the craziest games I played against Basel. We not only had one man sent off for Deal, but we had two men sent off. And this cost us the match completely. Nyestad and Fadil really screwed us over. I don't know where it came from, but anyway, Dovat and Viega getting the goals for Basel. But it didn't really matter because currently, even though we've lost 2 games, we are 14 points clear of Young Boys. And I think that is pretty incredible since we've had so many runs in the past where we've been ahead only by a short period of points, or we've been playing catch up. But really surprised by Winterthur this season. Basel not having a good year. But yeah, that is pretty much the table. Mencaroni getting second with most clean sheets. We haven't got anybody in the top 3 with goal scorers, but what I want to show you is if you look there, Kaiser and Doria are on 8, and then we've also got Maximiano who is on 7, but we're getting goals from the midfield as well. Fadil, which you probably can't see because of my head, has got 6 goals. I might go into a bit more detail with that just to show you how many players are scoring goals. Let me show you. Yeah, so overall, we've got a lot of players contributing to the team this season than we've not necessarily had in the last couple of seasons, which is really nice to see. But I have to say, incredible performance from the lads, and hopefully we can keep this up in the second half of the season. We started our Conference League campaign away from home to Artemis in Greece, in Athens. This was a difficult game, but we luckily got a 1-1 draw out of it. Artemis played really well in the first half with a goal from Makis. I'm not going to even bother pronouncing the last name, but our young Senegalese striker Makatawa Mabo got a goal in the 59th minute, securing a draw back to Vaduz. We followed that draw with a 4-1 victory at home with goals from Maloney, Kaiser and Beal, making it 5-2 on aggregate. Makis getting a consolation goal in the 80th minute. Then we had a trip to an old adversary in Bratislava. We've played these a few times in Europe before, and we didn't make it easy for ourselves. Alejandro getting an own goal in the 12th minute. Kovac getting a goal in the 26th minute. They were 2-0 up at half time. But a few changes in the second half made a lot of difference, and we secured a 2-2 draw away from home with goals from Maximiano and Fadil in the 78th and 82nd minute respectively. And then to follow that up, we got a 2-0 victory at home thanks to goals from Nyestad and Mbao to secure our place in the Conference League proper. Despite what I thought was going to be an easy start to the competition, it was not. We got ourselves into a bit of trouble with a 3-0 away defeat to SK Rapid Vienna. Goals from Jens Wunderlich, which was a pen in the 23rd minute, Nico Janssen and Semen Centurg in the 76th minute. Compounded us to a 3-0 defeat. Really poor from us at the start of the Conference League, especially with how things were going in the league at the time. We just couldn't get past Rapid Vienna's 3 at the back. It was really causing us problems. And it was really disappointing with how we started the competition. We did recover though, although it wasn't an easy game. Lazarus in the 4th minute against Maribor to make it 1-0 and our first 3 points on the dotted line. Then we had one of the most craziest matches of my entire period as Vaduz manager. It was against Sparta Prague, Gudula making it 1-0 to them in the first half. We recovered though later in the first half with a goal from Maximiano, and I kicked them up the backside in the halftime team talk. And something mad happened. Maximiano making it 2-1 in the 45th minute. And then that was followed up by another goal from Silla to make it 3-1. Then in the 49th minute, Nyestad plays a ball to Silla, who then plays at Javier, and Maximiano gets another goal to make it 4-1. Then in the 51st minute, Francisco Javier plays a ball back to Malone, and the deflection goes off onto Silla to make it 5-1. Sparta Prague weren't done yet though, and it was a mistake from Mencaroni to make it 5-2. But we weren't done either. Lazarus again with another corner goal and a header. And then in the 86th minute, we still weren't done. A goal from Kaiser. Crazy. We finished this match 7-2 against Sparta Prague. That has to be one of the most maddest games I've ever seen on this save. And then we continue that up with a 4-1 victory away in Denmark to goals from Fadil and Maximiano against Ab. Stroker getting a goal in the 31st minute. Then a 3-0 victory to KGHM, who we've signed a few players from in the past. Nyestad, Javier Howe, and Danny Shange making it 3-0 to us. You can see from the stats we thoroughly deserved this match, and we probably should have scored more. And then to wrap it all off, we won 2-1 against Maccabi Haifa. Goals from Maximiano and Simon Beale. Angel Munoz getting the consolation goal for the Israeli team. So, in terms of the Conference League, we have finished fourth in the league this season with 5 wins and only 1 defeat, 10 goal difference. But what I find really interesting is that Dortmund haven't finished top, but Bournemouth have, and I think Bournemouth and Dortmund are probably going to be the two of the hardest teams that we're going to potentially play in the common fixtures in the Conference League. The one thing that I do like is that we are missing out on the playoff this season. There's a lot of good teams in the playoffs, especially the 2 Prague teams. Vitesse and Hibernian are no pushovers. And a couple of teams that we've beat this season. So Maribor, KJHM have made it through. And yeah, I think we've done pretty well this season. The only major, I would say, surprise that I haven't seen made the 9 to 24th place is probably Basel, but maybe Charleroi as well. But apart from that, I think we've done really well to get into the top 8, and with that we will avoid having to play an extra game in the Conference League. So hopefully that allows us to rest some players for the knockout stages. But I'm really pleased with how things are going. Let's get into the transfers, and then once we're done with the transfers, I'll show you how things are going to be for the next episode. As you'd expect, we have been very busy in the transfer window, and something I was chatting just before I came into the transfer page was how much we've spent this season and last season compared to 2 seasons ago, because we made a lot of departures 2 seasons ago. I'll just show you actually. So in the last 2 seasons, we spent more than what we've spent going out. So last season was 39.5 million. This season it's 21.5, and I would expect that to rise in January. In terms of outgoings, let's just go quickly through some of the main players that have left. So Akurek has finally left. Didn't want Liechtenstein nationality, and a bid came in from Elche of 12 million. I think we could have probably got a little bit more, but we just move on. Traore also, I just don't think his heart was set on staying, and we made a bit of a profit on him, which was nice to see. We also sold our Peruvian goalkeeper Espinoza. We made a profit on him. I just thought he wasn't developing enough, and the fact that he's also got a nationality, or a cap, sorry, for Peru. I do believe there might be a buyback clause with Huddersfield, just if he does develop. We can always buy him back. I will confirm that before the end of the episode. A disappointing one in Roland Freund. Decided that he wanted to leave. I wanted to keep a hold of him, but Mulder came in with an offer, and yeah, a bit of a poor one in my opinion that he's went to Mulder, but we can't do anything about it. Hopefully, though, and the reason why I kind of decided to go, okay, let's let him go, is that he will develop more for the Liechtenstein national team. But yeah, a bit of a disappointing one. The only other major departure I would say, there's a couple of players there, Oscar Esperson, not particularly, and Russo aren't particularly main players for us in the past. Like Enema has left, the Cameroonian goalkeeper who I signed really early on. Just sold him because I just didn't see any point in keeping a hold of him. We did let go of Forsten Muller, had a really bad injury last year, and I just didn't see any way for me keeping a hold of him. So he's gone to Excelsior, like a lot of other Liechtenstein players have done in the past. They seem to enjoy going to the Netherlands, so hopefully he'll improve. And Jonas Meyer, who is our young Liechtenstein goalkeeper, he's gone to Ville in Switzerland. Apart from that, it's mainly just a lot of loan deals, a couple of our affiliates as well. This season, it's just been about trying to help develop the players as much as I can, and we'll see how we get on. In terms of the transfers incoming, this is the more interesting bit. So, we signed Mencaroni on a permanent deal, £10 million. Really happy with him. Here till 2040, probably will be here much longer, especially with how much we are paying for him, 10.25 million. Then we signed Jan Philip Natterman, who I really like the look of and is developing really nice. Also, that model citizen for me is a really nice thing to have, but I potentially think he will be better than his potential ability, and I'm keeping him around just to see how he improves. He's not going on loan. We also signed Oscar Estevez, who is a young Spanish player. We seem to be doing really well with the young Spanish players in the save. I've also signed Kevin Daibi, who is a national for Burkina Faso. He's pretty much the replacement for Roland Freund, and to be honest, I think he might get in the first team for the second half of the season. There is an option for us to sign him on a permanent deal for 17.5 million. If he develops and he looks like he's going to be a world beater, which at the moment he doesn't, then we will activate that clause. But yeah, a one for the future there. And then the only other major signing I would say is Daniel, who is a Brazilian. We signed him from St. Louis City. It was either going to be him or an Argentinian centre back, but we went for Daniel instead, and I couldn't be happier. 6.25 million, 12 games already this season, and he's 6'4". Really good ball playing defender. Hasn't been capped by Brazil yet, which is another added bonus. But yeah, in terms of the other signings, they have mainly been to just try and maybe get them into Liechtenstein nationals. So De Silva is one of them from Porto. Sanogo, who we can't get out on loan at the moment because of a work permit, is another one. And then we signed a young Italian called Barata from Genoa for 450k. We've also signed a young Slovakian who looks pretty decent, Mezaros. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. I do think he will get picked up by Slovakia, but I just want to see how that goes with him. And as you can see, for what we paid for him, the potential is there. Another signing we've made is Andrea Franschetti, and the reason we've only signed him is because I believe this guy will be a Liechtenstein international. He's not going to be in the first team. He's basically there to sit in the reserves, be a backup player, an emergency backup, and just go from there. And then the final signing, Leon Hirsch, a young centre back from Young Boys. We've probably paid a little bit too much for him, but Liechtenstein national. He wasn't doing much at Young Boys, and I just decided to take a punt on him. But yeah, for me, really happy with the transfer so far. We can only make 3 additions in January, but that might be on the cards that we bring in somebody in January. And the reason I think we will bring in a few players in January is because we've got a number of players that are due to expire this summer. Noah Lampert, it's probably his last season, even though that pains me to say it. He's not getting games for Vaduz. He's only had 6 games this season. A long-time servant, won the Liechtenstein Cup many times, and of course the Conference League many times. So hopefully he can go out on a good spell with that at the end of the season for us. Also, Kasper Kaminski, I think, will be leaving the club. His contract's due to expire, and there's a number of clubs that have put a bid in for him. Hence why I'm potentially looking to replace him with the young centre back that I mentioned earlier. Alejandro Maximiano. Having said that, though, these two might have secured. They have secured. Sorry. I was looking at the year and I thought it might be 2039 for some reason. These will probably end up staying, but Maximiano, probably out of Alejandro, is the one that might be leaving next season. There's a number of clubs interested in him, but we're not going to sell him for cheap. So Queenie, even though he's got international for Liechtenstein in terms of nationality, sorry, he's wanted by a number of clubs, and he has said that he would like to leave, which is a bit disappointing. Fabian Depov has also decided that he doesn't want to stay at the club anymore. He got disappointed that he wanted to go to Young Boys basically, and yeah, we weren't going to let that happen. There's a number of other players that I wanted, which I won't go into, but I expect it to be a very tough January, but we will proceed, and I'll obviously update you how things go in January in terms of incomings and outgoings. This is the youth intake for the season for 2038. As you can imagine, it's another poor intake, and I believe Ian Taylor is definitely under threat here for his job. No disrespect, Ian, in real life, if you're watching. I doubt you are, but yeah, it's not really anything to scream home about. I'm not expecting, golden generations every season, but the fact that we are getting worse intakes now is really starting to worry me. I'm already looking at new heads of youth for next season, so he may be getting the chop. So that is how things are going in terms of the first half of season 15. Just wanted to give you a quick update with regards to the schedule. So, as I mentioned, with regards to the Conference League, we won't be playing till March, which is really good for us. Usually we'd have to play in February as well, so that helps us with the fixture congestion. We've got a friendly against Celtic. I just felt like we needed some form of friendly before the Super League resumes again, and then it's pretty much plain and simple. The first game is against Lugano at home, and then the last game is against Luzern at home, and then we split into the 6 sort of promotion/relegation leagues, like you would have in Scotland and Denmark, for example. But what I'll be doing is I'll be rushing through the season again, and hopefully at the end of the next video, it will be the Conference League final, or if we don't make it the Conference League final, it'll be the final game in the Super League, or fingers crossed, it will be the game that clinches the title for us, clinches the first place, because obviously we won't win the title. But that is how things are going. I'll obviously show you the Liechtenstein Cup, which is the most important thing on this channel, as somebody I know specifically in the comments will say. But things are looking really good for a change. We're doing really well, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we can continue. That is the first half of season 15 wrapped up and done. I hope you have enjoyed my little season update. If you have, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. I will see you for the next one, and hopefully we might, fingers crossed, have 3 trophies, or 2 at least, in our name. Take it easy, stay safe, bye everybody.